About the pit?
Yeah.
Alright. So the question is why we have a pit? Well, the word umu in Maori is, it means earthen oven. And there's a few different ways of doing a hangi. You can either dig a hole in the ground, put a fire in it, and heat your rocks up. In the back, all the coals have your rocks on top, so they're really hot. And then put your baskets of food on top of that. Or the other way of doing it is you can light a fire over here, heat up all your rocks, and then put just the hot rocks in the pit. So you still got a pit, but you put your hot rocks in there. And then put your food on top, and then cover it up. Or the other way is you can have a fire on the ground, like just at ground level, and then lay the stones on top of the fire. Actually just have a bed of stones right on ground level, and then put your baskets of food on that. But the baskets of food are fairly flat, they're fairly low, whereas the baskets of food that go in this pit are just because we're trying to get volume for people, you know. So there's many different ways of doing it. There's really no right way. I think a lot of people have been to hangis or put a hangi down. When they talk about putting on a hangi, they talk about putting a hangi down, which means putting it in a hole, putting it down. The biggest thing is to make sure it's cooked, because if it comes up a little raw, it's never a good thing. Because once it comes out of the hole, that's it. I mean, the only way you can, I guess, cook the meat if it's not cooked properly is fire up a barbecue. Once you uncover it and all the heat's gone, it's done. That means you got to have rocks hot enough at the onset, like at the beginning. A little bit, we cheated a little bit on this, well, we cheated this one, because instead of just having a hole in the ground, the first one we did here, the ground here is so sandy. When the ground heats up with the fire, if you've got a hole in the fire, the ground heats up and it just turns to sand, and all the sand just falls in on itself. So you start off with a hole, and all of a sudden all the sand loses the moisture and it collapses. Well, if you look at this ground, it's just sand. There's all this. That's wet. That's a bit of wet earth there. But take a look at this dry stuff. It's just sand. It's just very sandy. So come over here, I'll show you the. One of the first ones we did, we used a firebox like this, but it was a bit longer. It was about 6 feet long. The metal was so thin, the heat buckled it and it bowed it in. We couldn't get the baskets in on the very first year. We had to get bits of wood and stretch the walls out, you know. So the first one we did the first year, we just went with an open hole in the ground and all the sand caved in, and we did it. We came up with a box design. And this is a variance on that box design where we just took a small one in that perfectly. And but as you can see, it's all bowed just from. So we decided to go with some like 3/4 inch plate, and that worked beautiful because it's solid as, you know, and it's not bowing at all. So this here is plate. It's 3/4 inch wide. It's about 6'6" long. Nearly 7 foot long. 3 2-foot by 2-foot by 2-foot hangi baskets go in there with about 2 inches to spare all the way around, so they have a little gap so that the steam can circulate. And plus, with the heat that's being trapped in the steel, it helps to cook it and radiate it from the outside as well. So we're kind of cheating a little bit. It's kind of like having a hangi pit that's made of one gigantic piece of rock, you know, with a hole in the middle. So there's the hangi pit. These are some stones from years gone by. But generally you get about 1, maybe 2 usages out of them, and if they're not a very good stone, they'll split from the heat. Fat and stuff from the meat is all dripped down this one, and they just split. They're no good. Whereas you get a good hangi stone, like Some of these Hangi rocks over here have been used. This is the 6th time they've been used. Back home in New Zealand, that will keep in the boot of their car in a sack so that they can make a little mini Hangi anywhere they go, and those rocks could be really old. With these rocks here, this one for example, this one's been used, this will be its 6th Hangi, and it has got no signs of cracking yet. So this has been heated up in that fire and then cooled down and heated up and cooled down and heated up 6 times, and it still hasn't split. So it's a good stone, and sometimes you can hear them when you're selecting good Hangi rocks. You can hear them. You smack them together, and if they get a nice hard sound, you know there's no fractures or cracks in it. Looking at like, see this one? You can hear it. See it split? No good, because they'll spit pieces of rock will come flying out of the pit at you. So you got to watch the kids when the kids are around, you know. Well, there's the Hangi pit, mate.
And here I am, getting a first-class lesson in Hangi food preparation.
Move it over,
yeah.
When Tez comes back with that tray, what I want you to do is put a tray here, and we're going to open up this. Alright, take this out of the, are you okay with meat, blood and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just like that. So take this, open this up. Put the tray up here, mate. Shut this off. Now drag a garbage bin over here. Take that out there. Just get that out. I'm not sure about that. I'll probably leave this on. Oh, yeah, we'll leave that on there. Okay? Flip it up there and just dump this in the trash can.
Where? Right here?
Yeah. Now, where are the trash bags, Cortez? You know where they are? Down by the Hangi. Yeah, pop a hole in here for you, bud. Swordsman skills. I think that'd be where you at? One more.
Take my hand.
Alright, now, cabbage leaves.
Spread it around there?
Yeah. You start undoing these, undoing those, and then pack them around the bottom of these baskets. Any more in this one?
I don't know.